Alright everyone, welcome back to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and today I want to talk about Datacrons. And before you click away, I want to explain why I think the community is so divided on Datacrons. And I think a lot of this division is coming from the way that Datacrons, I think, recently have been changing. They're getting a bit... I don't mind saying it like this, that I think Datacrons are becoming more and more game-changing as CG has realized that the overall player base does not really interact with them. That the players who are interacting the most with these things are in the Kyber 1 of Kyber 1, and that as you progress down through the different levels, you're seeing less and less participation. And so I think it's really dividing the community because there's a lot of the player base who I would say actually enjoys Datacrons or even like really enjoys them, or there's the players who just kind of participate out of necessity, which is where I'd kind of put myself. And so I'm going to show you guys a spreadsheet that I developed, and I'm going to kind of talk through what I want from you guys. It's going to be an interactive thing here. I want your honest opinion on Datacrons. So like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Before channel members, again, please bear with me. I'm working on all my stuff. I've got a lot of things going on here today. It's been really busy. There's nowhere else. There's no other way to say it. But let's talk about Datacrons real quick. So Datacrons are kind of becoming more and more game-changing. You think of the Dark Trooper Moff Gideon Kron, Beskar Armor Mando, Bo-Katan Mandalore's Kron, Afra. There's these Datacrons that have really changed the way that this game gets played. And sometimes they're like this Dark Trooper Gideon, the Bo-Katan, Afra, where they're on characters that can now compete against Galactic Legends, right? Like that, hey, you know what? That's pretty cool. They're going to compete against the Galactic Legends. They're going to be really, really good. Beskar Armor Mando, another similar situation. And then, though, you get the Datacrons like, the one for Holdo right now, or the Coors Light Leia Datacron that just expired, where they go into these teams that have Galactic Legends and makes them that much more difficult to beat. And that's where I think, if I had to really explain my position on Datacrons, I love the idea of the Darth Sidious Kron, Admiral Trench, Darth Bane, Afra, Sharut, all these characters. I love those ideas for Datacrons. Hey, we're going to take this team and we're going to make them really, really good. I love that idea because I think that it incentivizes the top-end player base to kind of continue spending to make their roster, around these Datacrons. I think that it gives players who maybe have those characters from whether it's territory battle operations or Omicrons and other things kind of a leg up a little bit, right? It does. I'm not going to sit here and say that it doesn't keep the game fresh. The issue I think that we're getting to, though, is that they're also getting a bit overpowered. That as much as I love these kind of Datacrons, they're also completely changing the way that players get to interact with them. And so I think that we do need an overhaul. We need some sort of change where I would argue that, even just taking away the levels, right? Taking away this stuff in here, these intermediary stats, and leaving the 3, 6, 9 kind of stuff, I'd be more okay with that. I just think that when they're helping Galactic Legends get even more ridiculous, I just feel like there's too much of an advantage being given, and that it's cheapening the competitiveness of the game. Just one man's humble opinion. So, with that, I want to jump over to this spreadsheet that I made. So we're going to go here, and my fat face doesn't have to move because the information's up top here. So, I'm going to link this in the description down below. And what I'm asking you guys here is just come in, fill in your name, your Grand Arena bracket, and then the first section here is your spending, right? How much are you spending on Datacrons? Or not how much, are you spending on Datacrons? And so let me explain kind of direct spending. Direct spending is you're spending, money on packs, or you're buying a vault to spend crystals on packs, that you are directly spending stuff on Datacrons, that you're going and buying those Datacron packs. That to me is direct spending. And we're talking money here. We're not talking any kind of free resources in the game, just money, right? We've got to go with money here. So if this is, hey, there's money that I am spending that's going directly towards Datacrons. Then indirect spending. This to me is, I'm not going to count I bought a vault of crystals and I made if you bought a vault of crystals and you buy crystal packs for Datacrons, or that would be indirect spending, right? Because you bought a vault of crystals you could have done anything with, and you're indirectly spending it on Datacrons. This is I'm spending the money on the Datacron packs. Indirect is also going to be your Conquest Pass and Pass Plus. Regardless of if you use those resources, you're indirectly spending on Datacrons when you purchase the Conquest Pass and Pass Plus. And then otherwise, you're free to play when it comes to Datacrons, that you're not spending any kind of money in any way, shape, or form on Datacrons. So that's the first things that you want to fill out. And you just put a 1. Like if you do both, if you spend money on the packs and you buy the Pass Plus, please put a 1 next to both. So my thing here would be, you could have a 1 here, a 1 here, and then you'd be 0. But if you have a 1 here, you can't be over here, right? But if both of these apply, then, put them on there, please. I want to know how are you spending on these Datacrons. Then next is your participation. So do you consider yourself an all-in player? Are you going crazy on the Datacrons? Are you getting every single one that you can possibly get? Are you going as hard as you can, right? And you need to be honest with that, right? Like all in, and I would say that for all in, you have to at least be buying the Conquest Pass. Like just because I think going all in means you're kind of spending some money. Heavy can be done as a free-to-play, but you're going, you're getting a lot of stuff out of your Datacrons, right? You're building up some of those characters to use just for Datacron sets. That would be heavy for me, right? That you're not quite spending money, but you're still going really hard on those Datacrons. You're trying to get as much out of them as humanly possible. Then you've got moderate, and this is where I threw myself. And I was really debating between heavy and moderate. And where I think I fall into the moderate category is that I won't really go any harder than trying to get, I'll get some nice Datacrons and stuff like that, but I don't go crazy, right? I'm not spending crazy resources farming Datacron nodes. At least I haven't in the past. I might this set. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't really go too hard here. I'm not spending any kind of crystals. Even my free-to-play crystals do not go towards any Datacron materials. Even if I need them, I still won't purchase any kind of reroll materials with them. So I kind of say I'm moderate, that I will more often than not take what the game gives me and use it, but I won't really go more than that, right? Minimal is, in my opinion, that you're just gonna, hey, they gave me these Datacron materials and I'm gonna use them. That you're not really, I'd say there's still a little bit of structure here where maybe you're building like the Leia Datacron or the Holdocron, but that you're not really trying to craft a whole bunch of them, that you're not building, hey, this Datacron is good for trench, like these stats here, that you're just kind of, hey, I got a trench cron, here I go, or, and you could kind of flirt in between those. I'd say for minimal, you're not going out of your way. Like, you're not really going to farm, like when Conquest ends, or when you're done with Conquest, you're not going and farming Datacron materials. You're just kind of like, I got the stuff that I got and I'm moving on. And then, are you just not participating? There are people who do not activate Datacrons. Let me know that. And then finally, we have the reason for your participation. Like, do you love Datacrons? Are Datacrons something that you really love? That it's one of your favorite parts of the game? Like, I mean, you think you're crazy, but, there are people who really do love Datacrons. They enjoy seeing them. They think it really amplifies their experience in this game. Do you just enjoy them? Yeah, they're not your favorite part, but you get a lot of enjoyment out of it. You enjoy crafting them. You enjoy trying to play around with them. That's okay. Let me know, it's okay to, enjoy it. And, I would say that I enjoy some aspects of Datacrons, like the Darth Sidious Cron, even like the Dr. Aphra Cron. I don't have it, but I would enjoy having that Datacron, right? That's the kind of stuff where I'd say, those non-galactic legend team type Datacrons, there's some enjoyment there for me, but I'm more so out of this what I would call necessity. I'm participating with Datacrons from the pure perspective that if I don't, I'm going to fall hard out of, Kyber 1 and even probably Kyber 2. I have to be participating with Datacrons to keep the level of competitiveness that I want. Then we have this kind of meh category where you're like, yeah, I don't really have a reason to participate and I don't have a reason to not participate, so I'm just kind of doing it as I feel. You don't really feel like you need them to be competitive, but you're not going to not participate with them because you may as well use the ones you have. That's kind of the meh, where you're not, you're just using them because they're there. You're not really trying to get a massive advantage by using them. You're just like, yeah, I have this Datacron. These stats kind of work. I'm going to throw it on a GL and hope it works. And then, do you just hate Datacrons? It's perfectly okay to say, I hate Datacrons. That I'm, even in this, and hatred could even say, you know, your reason for participation or not, right, would be like, I hate Datacrons, I don't do anything with them. So let me know, guys, right? This is kind of like how you, not even like a reason for participation. I call it reason for participation, but really like it's your, you know, how do you feel about Datacrons more so than anything? Like, you know, for me, I don't enjoy them. I'm not meh about them. Like, I recognize their importance. Like, that's where I'm at. There are other players who you may hate Datacrons, but, you know, you're still going to say, yeah, you know what, they are a necessity. And if they're a necessity, like, you just have to put necessity. And maybe I should add a thing here, like, your reason for participation. Maybe this would be a, this is what we'll do, right? We'll change reason of participation to these three, and then we'll say, you know, like, you love Datacrons, you enjoy them, or you need them. And then finally over here, what we'll do is we'll say, like, best, meh, hate, right? Like, how do you, you know, what's your feelings on Datacrons? There we go. I like that better. So for me, I'm more on the side of, I'd say I'm more on this side than this side, right? Actually, I'd go in the middle. I'm kind of more meh. Like, I'd love if they just kind of stuck with non-GL teams. I'd love if they took some parts out of it to, hey, we're going to give Afra a boost for a little bit. It's not going to be absurd. It's really only going to help her team. Like, I'd be more okay with that. So that's how I would describe it, guys. So hopefully you enjoy kind of interacting with this. I'd love to, I'll share the findings with you. I'm going to try and share this with as many people as I can because I do think that this is something that Capital Games really has not wanted to face the music on. Whenever they talk about Datacrons, they're like, they're a great way to change the game and players love them. And it's like, you guys don't even, you know, the community doesn't feel that way. But I think we as a community also need to be honest with ourselves on, like, how do you actually feel about them? And, like, here would be a good example, is that if you're like, I hate Datacrons, but I'm getting the Darth Sidious one, well, then you can't necessarily be in this, like, I don't participate at all, or even minimal. Like, you're more in this side of necessity if you're going for that. So that's my 2 cents. Let me know your thoughts. I love you all. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.